Hi, my name is Mark. This is my first video, and there are three things that typically people have problems with. And I'm going to be talking about my experience throughout it, since I have been successful in getting past these and making sure to manage my own emotions and expectations when I hit these three barriers. It is going to be, how do you stay motivated? What do you do when everything around you is telling you no, it's not going to work? And three, how do you know when you're actually making any progress? How do you identify it? I'm going to talk about that right now. Okay, got nothing good to say. Okay, so the classic question, how do I stay motivated? If there's not something that's itching in you to change, and not just for yourself, but for your family, whether you have your own family already or for those around you that you were born with and surrounded around, um, it comes from pain. In my personal opinion, it comes from pain, and that's the only way I found it to work. I don't chase the feel good of motivation, trying to get that drive, trying to get that, fast, intense, quick attention span of scrolling or, the intense music. I have chased that, and, certain music does get to me still, but we're talking about true motivation where you get off the couch, where you do something that you haven't done before. It comes from pain. And that's for when things are really hard. Otherwise, when things are going great, but you want to take it up a notch, you really want to be something different, then I think it comes from not having something you want. I want this thing, and you can't live without it. Then every day you work towards it because you see somebody else with it, and you cannot imagine how you could live that life, waking up at 4 a.m. and working until 11 o'clock at night, or trying new things and doing things that their group is not, and acting like it doesn't bother them at all, that they're completely different. Or are they different? They're just being their true self. Like, whatever the case is, it comes from pain, and or it comes from you being so obsessed that every day you're motivated and you don't even have to think about it. The goal is you want to not have to think about it. You just do it. Okay, so the next step, what do you do when everything around you says no? And typically that means everyone. Okay, if you're trying to start your own business, or you want to practice, learn, train, whatever the case is, say you're at a new job and you're taking cold calls, so you're making cold calls and you're just getting bad response after response after response, which typically means no response, no response, no response. Anybody that's been in sales would understand what I mean. You call 9 times and you get no response, and the 2 responses you get, one person tells you about their age-old stories, then the next person tells you a bad thing that they experienced. And then the guy beside you is going to make 2 cold calls, and on the second one, he's going to book an appointment and sell whatever it is that he's selling. Like, that's just how it works sometimes. And that's okay. But when everything around you is kind of crumbling, close your eyes. Close your eyes and think about what you want. And ignore everything else around you. When everything else is telling you no and trying to shut you down and shut you up and show you why this is not working, if somewhere in your gut you believe that it can still happen, you have to chase that. If you don't, you're not being true to yourself, and you're not making any exceptions for yourself. And what do I mean by exceptions? Well, you're not giving yourself a chance to be exceptional, right? Or extraordinary. You're not giving yourself the silence, the chance, the time with oneself to become extra and put it into ordinary and become extraordinary. You're just being ordinary if you listen to people and hear the disappointing things they have to say the least. So dig your heels in the ground and just say, it is not over until I win. And you will. Okay, so last one really quickly before I wrap up my first video. How do you know you're actually making progress? This is a big deal, and it takes some stepping back. But you have to be so attentive to what is going on in the present moment. Not now, but in the past. And not to confuse you, but in the future, this moment right here is going to be the past. So right now, take charge of your life and kind of analyze what's going on and what you want and what you are, right? Where you're at. And then you can look in the past and say, well, you know what? This is a good quote. I've already done things, and I already have things that I said would make me happy. That would make me more fulfilled. They just haven't happened yet. However, here I am, wanting this thing, feeling like I'm still at level 0. You have to actually write it down. This is what I would say. Write it down. Here's what I've done. Make a list of the things you want. And if you work your butt off, you don't give up. You focus. Do not give in to the distractions, because you step away from the easy thing. Whatever's easy, get it out of there. You want to do the hardest things. I'm not here to give business advice. I'm here to say what worked for me. But you want to do the hardest things. So that way, you'll be able to know if you're making progress, because years down the line, and I'm talking like, everybody says you work really, really hard and then maybe 10 years it'll pay off. Like, you will see results in maybe 2 to 3 years. Maybe even next year. I've done things in a year where, if you're asking me, things have changed very, very quickly. And if you believe in it, you dream for big things, it will happen. So, I like to say, shoot for the moon. And if you miss shooting for the moon, which does happen, it's happened to me, and it most likely will in some instances, but shoot for the moon. And if you don't hit it, you might fall amongst the stars, and you're still out of the atmosphere no matter what. And enjoy every bit of the process. So, you know you're making progress when you're enjoying doing the thing that you're no longer thinking about doing, you're doing it. That action, you're already making progress. Okay, that was my first video. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be recording calls that I'm having with people who are training me and mentoring me, and I'm going to be sharing the results with you. If I'm recording the calls and keep them for myself, I might as well give it to others who maybe aren't taking the action to go and ask somebody, hey, I'm looking for advice. Like, email, not emailing 100 different business owners and getting a time booked for 2 of them on a day, which you're already busy, but you're going to have to make do anyway just to get 5 minutes of their advice. It's just the way it is. So I would like to put that out so that way you guys can take a look. And I'm just happy to help others. I want more than anything to get to where I want to be throughout learning. And I want to be able to see somebody like myself who just wants and just has that desire and that hunger, and then help them. That's what I want. So I want to help people learn, and my experience hopefully is going to show throughout this channel. So looking forward to see you guys down the road. Thank you for watching.